Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, my name is Splattercat, and I'm happy to welcome you back to another episode of Noir Syndrome. This is Case Files number 5, in which we attempt to find a murderer based on the evidence that we can uncover in 2 weeks' time. So if you're feeling brave and you're not worried about hot steel, let's step to the new game, straight out the door, into the shadows, and see who we can pin this thing on. Once again, our familiar apartment. Cracked as it is, you can't help but love the old place. And at least Jasper's here. Always looking for more attention, staring at us with his glowing yellow terrifying eyes. Still, I can't help but love the little ginger bastard. We find $11 on the bookshelf that we had forgotten about, amongst a bunch of books about criminal analysis and justice and stuff. The desk is just a mess of unsolved cases like always. And the note, like every other time, tries to assure us that nobody's out to get us. Not feeling reassured, we step on out into the cold night air. And luckily, we don't find a murder waiting for us. Locations being what they are, not having a body to go on, a detective doesn't really have a job until someone gets murdered. And so I suppose we'll spend our time like many do at the speakeasy, getting ourselves some cheap liquor. The tables are inviting, but we're on the job. Not a whole lot of things to stop off and look at, just the wide selection of alcoholic beverages which entice us one by one in their shiny bottles. Heading upstairs, we find no evidence that might indicate that the culprit was ever here. But Barbara Williams is added to our suspects by Marie King, who seems to think that she's the lady we're looking for. Robert Thompson is fingered by Thomas Brown for giving him the creeps. Behind a painting upstairs, we find a gun holster hidden. Possible evidence? I don't know, but we'll keep it for later. Buttons is quite a friendly dog for how mean his owners can get if you owe him money. We give him a pet and hope that no harm befalls him. Donald Walker is pointed out by Edward Brown as the guy who done it. Not a lot of evidence to go on right now, but a list of names is better than a list with no names, so we continue our walk. Got kind of a stiff back today. Makes me walk without using my upper body. A lot of people have been pointing it out. I should probably go see a chiropractor. Additionally, my eyes are rather large, and my head rather square, but then again, so is everybody else's, so I don't really worry about it. Still no murders. I can't say that that's not a... it's a good thing, but I can't say that's not a bad thing for our investigation. Let's head to the church and see if there's anybody looking for forgiveness. We find colored inks stashed on top of an altar. Alice Adams is pointed out by Robert Thompson, who thinks that she's definitely the one that we should be looking for. Meanwhile, Barbara Williams doesn't believe it. The blonde bombshell with a cigarette hanging out of her mouth thinks that it's the guy that she just pointed out that I missed on the screen because the text went too fast. I don't know. But anyways, it sounded good, so whatever. We search the main altar and don't find anything stored away for the ceremonies. I'm taking stock of the evidence that we have on hand right now. Our culprit is likely involved with the police or the mob and is an artist or a tailor. Given that information, I think there's only one place we could stop off now, assuming the night stays quiet. And it does, and so we head to the tailor's shop at the department store. Nothing at the register. Nothing there either. We begin to check the pants for any evidence we might find. Sir, let me check your pants, I say clumsily. I don't think he's going for it. Clumsily, that is. Walter Jones is added to our list of suspects by Donald Walker. And Elizabeth Green is added by Edward Brown. Police ID is found, narrowing down our suspects catastrophically for the enemy. Not so much for us. For us, it's a really, really good thing. But now we know that it's for sure a police officer that's to blame. We use a lockpick to get into the back room. I figure it'll make a stink, but nobody seems to care. We find $15 on a shelf, and Kenneth Robinson says everyone's counting on you as we take it. A tip, I suppose, for my services rendered. Now that we know that it's a police officer, I think that leads us to the police station, don't you? So, let's hop a cab and see if we can't get there before the culprit takes off. Unfortunately, a crack of a gunshot rings through the night. Paul Moore is found. 3 shots to the chest. Unfortunately, they were quite fatal. He's found at the mechanic's shop, and so I figure we should probably stop by, being that, you know, we are a homicide detective and all that. Staying employed seems to be one of those things that will probably benefit us. We find female fingerprints at the site. Chutney seems shaken by the gunshots that rang out, but nonetheless appears to be friendly, like he always is. We find a bullet casing strewn underneath one of the raised cars, in for repairs. $6 on a rack, a pencil found in a car, and nothing else. It was a good night for us. We've got a lot to go on now, and so we head back to our headquarters to see what we can find. Margaret Allen is killed in the meantime. Somehow I feel as though it's my fault, as though maybe if we had worked a little bit faster, she wouldn't be face down in a pool of her own blood. Nonetheless, we're gonna get this guy. I know it. The clues that we have indicate that it's a police officer that's to blame. A female police officer. Evidence is indicating that it's probably an artist that we're looking for. And so taking a look at the list of our suspects, we have Elizabeth Green. If she turns out to be a police officer, I think we've got our lady. This could be one of the shortest cases we've ever run. We go ahead and beat in on her and we check around with some of our snitches to figure out where she's been haunting lately. Elizabeth Green, as it turns out, like most police officers, can be found doing her daily job at the police station. I don't relish the fact that I'm going to be investigating her and arresting her in front of her colleagues, and this could lead to some serious problems. But, nonetheless, let's do the job. Freeze, lady. You're under arrest. Case closed. The suspect was arrested. Elizabeth Green was indeed our gal. The law will take it from here. My name is Splattercat. Thank you for joining me for Case Files number 5 of Noir Syndrome. The badge that we unlocked right there, in case you were curious, is more than likely an investigations bag for, let's see here. Well, it said we got a badge, but I'm having trouble finding it. Well, I don't know if it just assigned us something we already had, but I don't see any new badges. I had all these ones before. But without worrying about it too much, my name is Splattercat. Thank you for joining me in Case Files number 5 of Noir Syndrome. If you guys are tired of this series, we can move on to something else. Or if you want to see more, I'm always available to help shut down more criminals with your help. I'll see y'all in Case Files number 6, if you want it, and if not, I'll see you elsewhere. Take care out there, everybody.